From the national newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Israeli officials have said this morning that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has dissolved Israel's influential war cabinet that was tasked with steering the war against Hamas in the Gaza Strip. The move comes just days after the departure from the government of Benny Gantz, an opposition lawmaker who had joined the coalition in the early days of the war. Gantz had demanded that a small cabinet be formed as a way to sideline far-right lawmakers in Netanyahu's government. Environment Canada says a heat wave descending on much of Ontario this week is expected to bring dangerously high temperatures.
The weather agency has issued a heat warning starting today for an area that spans London to Ottawa, stretching up to Sault Ste. Marie and as far north as Fort Albany. Temperatures in the Greater Toronto Area and Ottawa could feel as hot as 45 degrees Celsius with the humidity. The agency notes that health risks associated with heat illness are greater for older adults, infants, young children, and other vulnerable groups, while hot, humid air can worsen air quality. John Kennedy, The Canadian Press.
The Transportation Safety Board is sending 2 investigators to probe the weekend crash of a float plane in northwestern Ontario. Ontario Provincial Police say 5 people were injured, 2 of them seriously, after a plane went down Sunday morning in Red Lake, northwest of Thunder Bay. The TSB says the de Havilland DHC-2 Beaver aircraft was operated by Canadian Fly-In Fishing Service. Many people with diabetes in Canada will soon be able to take insulin once a week instead of once a day. Manufacturer Novo Nordisk says A-Weekly is the first once-a-week basal insulin injection in the world, and that Canada will be first to get it, starting June 30th. Endocrinologist Dr. Alexander Abbott-Ball says patients are often hesitant to take insulin every day.
Now that we're moving to 7 times less often, is that we foresee, better adherence with this new weekly insulin when it becomes available in Canada.
Health Canada approved the weekly insulin in March for both type 1 and 2 diabetes, but it will be most useful, doctors say, for type 2 patients. And The Outsiders and Stereophonic won the 2 biggest awards at the Tony Awards in New York. Reporter Margie Zaraletta has more from winners from last night.
My friend. The Outsiders, an adaptation of the S.E. Hinton novel, won the Tony Award for Best Musical. Hinton was in the audience as the cast and crew accepted. Stereophonic, about a 1970s band making an album, won Best Play. Acting awards went to Malia Joy Moon for Hell's Kitchen, Sarah Paulson for Appropriate, Jeremy Strong for An Enemy of the People, and Jonathan Groff and Daniel Radcliffe for Merrily We Roll Along.
Toronto area natives Jeff and Rick Cooperman were up for their first Tony for their choreography for The Outsiders, but they lost to Justin Peck for his work on Illinois. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the Toronto Blue Jays will open a 3-game series tonight against the visiting Boston Red Sox. The Jays are coming off winning 2 of their 3 weekend games against the visiting Cleveland Guardians. The Red Sox won 9-3 over the MLB best New York Yankees yesterday. In the CFL, the Saskatchewan Roughriders erased a late 30-23 deficit Sunday to knock off the winless Hamilton Tiger Cats 33-30. The Riders scored a touchdown with 45 seconds left to tie the contest up. Then after intercepting a Ticats pass 10 seconds later, got a 43-yard field goal on the final play to win it. And in golf, American Bryson DeChambeau is the U.S. Open champ for the second time. Canadian Corey Connors finished in a 3-way tie for 9th. That finish also earned him a trip to the Paris Olympics, and he'll join Nick Taylor as Team Canada's reps in men's golf. Brooke Henderson of Smiths Falls, Ontario, is on the women's team headed to the 2024 Summer Games. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.